Good day everyone. Today we're going to discuss about the law enforcement agency, bureaus, offices, and department of the government. We've only chosen 15 of them and we were going to discuss its definition and its function. So let's start. Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA. The Philippines Drug Enforcement Agency is responsible for efficient law enforcement of all provisions on any dangerous drugs and/or precursors and essential chemicals. One of their functions is to undertake the enforcement of the provision of Article 2 of Republic Act 9165 relative to the unlawful acts and penalties involving any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemicals. Bureau of Customs. The Bureau of Customs is one of the lead agencies responsible for the control and monitoring of the export-import of weapons of mass. Their function is to supervise and control all import and export cargoes landed or stored in piers, airports, terminal facilities, including container yard and freight stations, for the protection of government revenue. Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP. The Bureau of Fire Protection is the government body in the Philippines responsible for the provision of fire service. It is under the jurisdiction. The BFP is responsible for ensuring public safety through the prevention or suppression of all destructive fires. Philippine Coast Guard or PCG. The Philippine Coast Guard is the country's vanguard against the entry of unsafe foreign vessels into the country through its port state control. The Philippine Coast Guard is mandated and responsible to perform maritime search and rescue, maritime law enforcement, maritime safety and marine environmental protection, and maritime security. Bureau of Internal Revenue. The Bureau of Internal Revenue is an agency of Department of Finance. BIR collects more than half of the total revenues of the government. The Bureau of Internal Revenue is mandated by law to assist and collect all national internal revenue taxes, fees, and charges, and to enforce all forfeitures, penalties, and fines connected therewith, including execution of judgments in all cases decided in its favor with the Court of Tax Appeal and the Ordinary. Commission on Election or COMELEC. The COMELEC is the premier guardian of the ballot. As protector of the people's right of suffrage, the COMELEC endeavors to faithfully and evenly discharge its solemn constitutional responsibility of ensuring the sanctity of elections. Its principal role is to enforce and administer all laws and regulations relative to the conduct of elections, plebiscites, initiatives, referendums, and recalls. Philippine Ports Authority or PPA. The PPA is the primary government agency concerned with the planning and development of the country's seaports. PPA function is to foster cognitive diversity in an open, interactive work environment to facilitate the free exchange of ideas. Anti-Money Laundering Council or AMLC. The Anti-Money Laundering Council is the agency of the government of the Philippines that is tasked to implement the provisions of Republic Act No. In relation to its power to investigate money laundering, the AMLC, upon order of a competent court, is authorized to inquire into or examine any particular bank deposit or investment that are deemed related to an unlawful activity or a money laundering offense. Bureau of Immigration or BI. The Bureau of Immigration is principally responsible for the administration and enforcement of immigration, citizenship, and alien admission and registration laws in accordance with the provisions of Philippine Immigration Act of 1940. The Bureau was given the sole authority to enforce and administer immigration and foreign nationals registration laws, including the admission, registration, exclusion, and deportation and repatriation of foreign nationals. Land Transportation Office or LTO. Land Transportation Office is an agency of the Philippine government under the Department of Transportation responsible for all land transportation in the Philippines. It aims to be a frontline government agency that showcases fast and efficient public service for a progressive land transport sector. Bureau of Corrections or BUCOR. The Bureau of Correction is an agency of the Department of Justice which is charged with the custody and rehabilitation of national offenders who have been sentenced to 3 years prison. They are in charge with custody and rehabilitation of national offenders, that is, those sentenced to serve a term of imprisonment of more than 3 years.